Okay, hi everybody. Hopefully this is going to work. I've been having, of course, technical difficulties for the past few days, no surprise. Anyway, so today I woke up feeling kind of crappy. My intent was to go check in with my primary care provider just to, make sure there wasn't something going on with my kidneys and whatnot. And I probably will do that tomorrow, but I'm feeling a lot better. Usually if I just listen to my guides and my body and it knows what to do. So I went for a walk and I decided to do some channeling. And I usually do that outside when I take a walk because when I'm in the house, I get what I like to call the peanut gallery. Oh, I'm in my pool right now. Say hi to my flamingo. Anyway, so I get the peanut gallery, which are, the little earthbound spirits and whatever that like to hang around. And, they kind of like to get their 2 cents worth in and make themselves known. And things kind of get muddled. And anyway, so I tend to do better when I go outside. Anyway, so the primary entity, the higher dimensional entity that I will channel the most is Bronwyn, is her name. And she's kind of the one that gives me the technical information and, just how to get through this whole process and how to help other people get through the process. So she's pretty cool. She typically will show me pretty directly everything I need to know, because I'm one of those people you kind of have to hit them over the head with it, and show show me, prove it to me. And she's pretty good about that. She's she's pretty direct in her communication with me, so that's really helpful to me. So a few things that came through today. I kind of had been focusing on this whole light, dark, yin and yang kind of stuff that goes on within me for the past week or so, and just reflecting on it a lot. And so what came through to me, what was confirmed to me today, and it's nothing new, is that my DNA is I'm an alien hybrid. So there we go. There's that out of the way. I'm an O negative, and I've talked to some of you guys privately, and I know you have had similar experiences with, the whole UFO contact and or abduction scenarios. I posted earlier, I showed you the triangular shape on my foot, and I think that's pretty significant. I think it's an implant or implants because it tingles whenever this stuff gets active, or whenever I'm submerged in water for a long time. So I'm in my pool now, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I'm a hybrid, and I've kind of known that for a while, since the whole awakening process, finding out about the RH negative thing. And I went down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, wow, this makes a whole lot of sense to me, because I fit every single characteristic. I have a really low body temperature. It's not unusual for me to run about 95.7, and I was at the doctor one day, and they literally had to check me 3 times. They're like, that's not even possible. You're in organ failure. I'm like, well, I assure you I'm not in organ failure. It's just me. I run very low. And I'd been outside too, so I think that was, unusually low, but I do run very, very low. So if I'm like at 99, I'm running a pretty good fever. So it's kind of frustrating to my healthcare practitioners, and my blood pressure is really low. I've had all the psychic experiences, and I told you guys in my last video about, about like seeing the entity in my window when I was 9. I was a sleepwalker and an astral traveler. So, it's all the information's there. It's pretty cut and dry. But what I found out, what was confirmed for me, is that and I know this has such a negative connotation, but my DNA is reptilian. So I kind of knew that though, because there is that dark stuff, that whole. I'm like, but, and I asked my guides, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because there's this thing in me that just really wants to serve humanity and do good. But she's like, no, you're confusing DNA with your soul. She's like, you're a star. Your soul is Cygnian starseed, but your DNA, your physical body is half, or however, I don't know how they do it, but anyways, part reptilian, alien DNA. And it really, it's not that hard to accept, it makes a lot of sense. Like when I was a kid, when my mom would be cooking hamburger, I would steal raw hamburger off the cupboard and eat it. And to this day, you know how most people their tray is ice cream or cake. I love rare red meat more than I can even tell you. I'll go to a steakhouse and I'm just like, yeah, just warm it up barely and put it on the plate. So, just things like that. And I'm really cold-blooded, and I get sick in the summer, and that's the other thing I was going to say. I've been getting really sick, and the past week I've spent all this time in the sun. And they're like, oh, reptilians hate the sun. Well, no, I love being in the sun. I just can't be in it for very long, because it just, after a while, I like to get in the water, and then I like to, get warmed up and then go inside. But if I'm out there for extended periods of time, I have some pretty negative effects. I'll get sick and dehydrated pretty quick. The other thing is I have this thing with reptiles. My ex and I, when we lived in Montana, we had a pet store that specialized in reptiles. So, not surprising at all, really. But what I guess what I want to get across is, you go online and there's all this negative stuff about the reptilians, and but the point is, and I used to be a pretty shitty person, even when I was doing counseling and social work, I'd have these moments, these boneheaded moments where I'd just do kind of mean and nasty stuff. I was kind of a mean girl, I think. I'd have those moments, not always. Then the good part of me would kick into gear and pull my head out of my butt, which is probably why I'm not a full-blown heroin addict on the street. But, I definitely, I've tasted it, and I've been there, and it makes sense. It just does. And then since, starting the ascension process, I'm just different. I'm a different person. I really am. And it's good, and I love it. And I'm starting to learn to embrace that dark side. It's kind of funny. I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, yeah, I'm about half Tinkerbell and half Morticia Addams. I think that's kind of how I would describe myself. I do kind of have this fascination with kind of weird, dark, creepy stuff. I like horror movies, and I don't know. I think that's the reptilian DNA, and I just have to oh, okay, well, that's just that, and leave it for what it is, and then just move on. But I think it's going to have a purpose. I know it has a purpose. I think I'm here to help people that are going through really, really dark times and dealing with these dark entities. And so I talked to the gal that I did the energy transfer class with. I sent her an email and just kind of said, yeah, I kind of think this is going to be my role, to help people that are suffering with, Morgellons or whatever, that some of these conditions that are, otherworldly, and people can't really understand them right now, because we're at a time in history that, we're going through things. Our world is going through things that we've never seen before, and we're going to start seeing things that we've never seen before. And when you're dealing with, multidimensional things, you have to treat it multidimensionally. So Anyway, so yeah, that's what I kind of my take on that, which leads me into the Ormus. So basically, what Ormus is it's short for, let me see if I can get this right, orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements. So some people call it ORME, ORME. I've seen it called Ormus, and that's just what I call it. I go with that. But basically, what it is it's a substance. Substance? I don't know. Element? I'm not sure how to explain it. It's something that exists between dimensions. And you can see that. I posted some pictures. You can see that stuff levitating. That's just, it's alchemy. It's extracted and done. I do it kind of ritualistically, and I infuse my starseed energy, and it's something that when I first heard about it, it resonated so deeply with me. Between that and like the energy transfer resets that I'm learning to do, I think that's just going to be so key. That and whatever natural cures you guys are doing. And I thought about this too. You go on the boards, and I know everybody on there means so well, but here's the thing. Everybody's DNA is different. So, I just told you I have, reptilian alien DNA, and some of you probably have alien DNA, because I know a few of you have told me you're Rh negative, and I think that's a pretty good indicator. No, I'm not saying you're reptilian. Please don't make that leap. What I am saying is everybody's DNA is different. And it's going to respond different to different modalities, different treatment modalities. And the other thing that I think is critical here, what I have noticed is that there seems to be different subtypes of I'm going to call it Morgellons, but I really prefer Ascension syndrome. Okay, so but I'm going to go ahead and use the term Morgellons because that's what we're all familiar with. But it tends to be there are differences that that occur geographically, and so I would say there's almost like subsets of this thing. And there's like a particularly virulent strain, and I think from what I can tell, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm like right by the highway, so I apologize for the background noise, but those of us that live in I live in Northern California, but the people that I've talked to that have this particularly virulent strain live in areas that get a lot of heavy rainfall, which would be us in the winter. There's people in Seattle that I've talked to that are just miserable. They are really fighting this stuff. And some people in the UK, a lot of people that have this in the UK, they seem to have some pretty serious stuff going on. So I think, this stuff, it just works with what's in your environment. If you have a wet environment, it's going to love it. And then, of course, here in Northern California, we get the wet weather, and then we get this extreme heat. Well, how does mold and things like that grow? Well, you have moisture and heat. So, there you have it. But what I don't want you guys to forget is that, I think I posted earlier that slime mold has a huge component in it. And my guides have told me, they gave me a few keywords, and one of them was the slime mold, or the Dictyostelium discoideum is the proper term for it. There is, the component with the Aspergillus fungi. And then the other term, there's two other terms that have been made vitally important to me. One of them is Agrobacterium, and the other is horizontal gene transfer. Those terms right there have been shown to me as vital in understanding what's going on, and I don't think we'll ever fully understand what's going on. I think the key is to raise your vibration, and in the interim, I think you have to do these other things like clearing your environment and clearing your body. Really, really, it's not easy to do. I battled with it, still battling, clearly, still battling. But my down periods are shorter, and I can get my head around it pretty quick now. I know what I need to do, and that is my hope for all of you guys, to just give you some tools, give you a toolbox that you can reach into and kind of get through this lower fourth dimension, raise your vibration, and get through this, and come out the other side, because you will come out the other side. And when you do, once you get your third eye open, oh my goodness, things are going to change for you so much. I promise. Get that pineal gland decalcified and get your third eye open, and then start serving others. When you start serving others, that naturally raises your vibration, and you're just going to be so much better for it. So anyway, that's what I have for you now. I did say I was going to post a tutorial on the Ormus, and if you go online, it's going to be really confusing, because there's about as many ways to make Ormus as there are people making it. I'm just going to show you, hopefully I'll probably start a new batch tomorrow, and I'm just going to put the video on and walk you through it step by step. And I use a pretty simple process. I think it's pretty simple, and hopefully just that'll be one more tool that you can add. But yes, I will put an actual tutorial. But in the meantime, just kind of look up what Ormus is and what it does for you. And I think it does some pretty amazing stuff. I have noticed that I'm a stress eater. So when it's probably my reptilian DNA too, like rah, 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 munch, munch. When I get stressed, I eat. And I've noticed since using the Ormus, I don't stress eat. So that's been kind of a nice plus. Anyway, I'm rambling again. I tend to do that. So I think I'm going to call it good for now and look for the Ormus video. In the meantime, like I said, if you guys have any questions, if you get stuck, if you're just having a really bad time and want somebody to talk to, I used to be a counselor, so I'm a great listener. If that's all you want to do, ask for my phone number. I will give it to you. Don't feel like you're bothering me. Use it. I want to be a resource for you guys. So anyway, just always remember that that's available to you. This is my mission. This is what I'm supposed to be here to do. So I want to do it. So please use me. Use me, abuse me. No, don't abuse me. Just use me. All right, everybody. Hope you're having a really good Monday. Take care. Kisses. Bye.